Maya's hand trembled as she carried the espresso toward the corner booth. She'd seen it 30 seconds ago, and her mind was still trying to process what her eyes had witnessed. Marco, quiet, reliable Marco, who'd worked the kitchen for 2 years, had paused by the prep station. His back was to the security camera, his body blocking the view, as he pulled something from his pocket. A small vial, white powder. And then the twist of his wrist as it dissolved into the dark liquid. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she approached the table. The man sitting there, Vincent, though she only knew him as the usual Thursday customer, was reviewing documents, his expensive suit jacket draped over the booth beside him. He'd been coming here every Thursday night for 3 months, always ordering the same thing: rare steak, black coffee, and a double espresso at exactly 10:47 p.m. Tonight it was 10:46. "Your espresso, sir." Maya's voice came out steadier than she felt. She set the cup down on the table, and then, before she could second-guess herself, before fear could paralyze her, she knocked it sideways with her tray. Hot liquid splashed across the documents, across the polished wood, across Vincent's hands. He jerked back, his eyes snapping up to meet hers. Around them, the late-night diner went quiet. The couple by the window stopped talking. The trucker at the counter looked up from his pie. "I'm so sorry." Maya grabbed napkins, her hands shaking as she dabbed at the spill. "I'm so clumsy tonight, I don't know what." Vincent's hand closed around her wrist. Not hard, but firm enough to stop her frantic movements. His eyes, dark, calculating, searched her face. "What's your name?"
Maya.
"Maya Chun. I really am sorry about." "How long have you worked here, Maya?" The question caught her off guard. 8 months. "Sir, let me get you another."
No.
His grip tightened slightly. "No more espresso tonight." Something in his tone made her breath catch. He knew. Somehow he knew. Vincent released her wrist and stood, pulling out his phone. His movements were calm, controlled, but Maya could see the tension in his shoulders. "Does Marco usually make the espresso?" Maya's mouth went dry. "How did you answer the question?"
No.
"Usually it's Donna. But she left early tonight. Sick kid." Maya glanced toward the kitchen, where Marco was visible through the service window, his face carefully neutral as he plated an order. "Sir, I think maybe you should. Everyone needs to leave." Vincent's voice cut through the diner like ice. It wasn't loud, but it carried an authority that made every person in the room freeze.
Now.
"This establishment is closing early due to a gas leak." "There's no gas leak," the trucker protested. Vincent pulled out his wallet, extracted several $100 bills, and laid them on the counter. "There is now. Everyone out. Your meals are covered." The diner emptied quickly after that. The couple grabbed their coats. The trucker pocketed the money with a shrug. Within 2 minutes, only Maya, Vincent, and Marco remained. Through the service window, Maya could see Marco's hands had stilled on the prep station. "You can come out now, Marco." Vincent's voice was conversational, almost pleasant. "Or, I can come in there. Your choice." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Marco emerged from the kitchen, wiping his hands on his apron. His face was pale, but his expression remained neutral. "Mr. Moretti, I don't understand." "The espresso." Vincent gestured to the spilled cup. "What did you put in it?" "I don't know what you're talking about. Let me be clearer." Vincent took a step forward. "I've been coming here every Thursday for 3 months.
Same order, same time.
Tonight, for the first time, Donna leaves early. Tonight, for the first time, you make my espresso. And tonight, this young woman, who has no reason to risk her job, spills it before I can drink it."
He paused.
"So I'll ask again. What did you put in it?" Marco's hand moved toward his pocket. Vincent moved faster, closing the distance between them in 2 strides and slamming Marco against the wall. The impact rattled the dishes on the nearby table. "Don't." Vincent's voice dropped to a whisper that was somehow more terrifying than a shout. "Don't make this worse. They'll kill my family." Marco's voice cracked. "They said if I didn't do it, they'd kill my wife, my kids."
Who?
"I don't know names. Just a phone number. They paid me $50,000 and gave me the poison." Marco's eyes were wet. "They said it would look like a heart attack. That no one would know."
"I'm sorry."
"God, I'm so sorry." Vincent held him there for another moment, then released him with a sound of disgust. Marco slumped against the wall, his apron twisted around his body. Vincent pulled out his phone, pressed a button, and held it to his ear. "It's me." I need a cleanup crew at Rosie's Diner on 5th and Main. One compromised asset. And I need you to pick up Marco Russo's family, wife, and 2 kids, and take them to the safe house on Birch Street. He paused, listening. Because if they were willing to threaten him, they're willing to follow through. Do it now. He ended the call and turned to Maya, who'd been frozen by the register throughout the entire exchange. Her hands were gripping the counter, so hard her knuckles had gone white. You saved my life tonight. Vincent's voice was gentler now, but no less serious. Do you understand what that means? Maya shook her head mutely. It means whoever wanted me dead now wants you dead too. Vincent moved toward her slowly, as if approaching a frightened animal. There are cameras in this place. They saw you spill that drink. They saw me not drink it. Which means they know you're the reason I'm still standing here. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. Her knees went weak, and she gripped the counter harder. But I didn't, you did the right thing. But in my world, doing the right thing has consequences. Vincent stopped a few feet away from her. What's your situation, Maya? Family? Dependents? My sister. The words came out automatically. She's in the hospital. Leukemia. I'm all she has. Vincent's expression softened almost imperceptibly. How old? 17. The experimental treatment she needs isn't covered by insurance. I've been working double shifts too. Maya's voice broke. Oh God. If something happens to me, she'll have no one. The treatment costs $200,000 and I've only saved $43,000 and… Stop. Vincent held up a hand. Listen to me very carefully. In about 10 minutes, 3 of my men are going to arrive here. They're going to secure this location and make sure Marco cooperates. After that, you have 2 choices. Maya's vision blurred with tears she refused to let fall. What choices? Choice 1. I give you $10,000 cash. You disappear tonight, and you pray they don't find you before I find them. Vincent's eyes never left hers. Choice 2. You come with me. I'll protect you. I'll pay for your sister's treatment in full, and in return, you help me identify who ordered this hit. If you're hooked and want to see what choice Maya makes, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. This story is about to get intense. Help you how? Maya asked. You're a witness. You saw Marco prepare the poison. You can testify to what happened here. Vincent pulled out a handkerchief and carefully wrapped the espresso cup. More importantly, you can identify any other people who might have been involved. Kitchen staff, suppliers, anyone who's been acting strange lately. Maya's mind raced. $10,000 wouldn't even cover 2 months of her sister's current treatment, let alone the experimental therapy. But going with Vincent, going with a man who clearly lived in a world where people poisoned each other and families got threatened, that was insanity. Why would you do this? She asked. Pay for her treatment? Protect me? You don't even know me. Vincent was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice carried a weight that hadn't been there before. 6 years ago, my younger brother was poisoned. Same method, something slipped into his drink at a restaurant. No one warned him. No one saw anything. Or if they did, they were too afraid to speak up. His jaw tightened. He died 3 hours later in my arms. The doctors couldn't save him because we didn't know what the poison was until it was too late. Maya's breath caught. You didn't have to warn me, Vincent continued. You could have looked away. Pretended you didn't see anything. Most people would have. But you risked your life, your job, everything, for a stranger. He met her eyes. That kind of courage is rare. And in my world, loyalty like that is worth more than money. Before Maya could respond, the diner door opened. 3 men in dark suits entered, moving with practiced efficiency. They weren't rushing, but there was something predatory in the way they scanned the room, cataloging exits and threats in seconds. Boss. The tallest one nodded to Vincent. Perimeter is secure. We've got eyes on 2 vehicles that have been circling the block for the past 15 minutes. They're keeping their distance, but they're definitely watching. Vincent's expression hardened. How long before they make a move? Hard to say. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow. But they know something went wrong. They're waiting to see what we do next. Then we don't give them time to plan. Vincent turned to Marco, who was still slumped against the wall. Take him to the warehouse. Get the phone number, get everything he knows about the contact. And make sure his family is secured before you start asking questions. Yes, sir. 2 of the men moved toward Marco, who didn't resist as they pulled him to his feet. As they led him toward the back exit, he looked at Maya with hollow eyes. I really am sorry. Tell Donna I'm sorry too. She didn't know anything about this. Then he was gone, and Maya was alone with Vincent and the remaining security guard. You still haven't answered my question, Vincent said. Which choice, Maya? Maya looked around the diner. She'd spent 8 months here, pouring coffee and taking orders and pretending that if she just worked hard enough, she could save her sister. 8 months of 40-hour weeks that turned into 60, of smile-through-the-pain customer service, of counting every dollar and still coming up short. She thought about Lily in that hospital bed, so thin now that she looked like a ghost. Thought about how her sister never complained, never asked why this was happening to her, just kept fighting even when the odds were impossible. If I come with you, Maya said slowly, what happens to my job? My apartment? My life? Your life as you knew it is over either way. Vincent's honesty was brutal, but not unkind. If you run, you'll spend every day looking over your shoulder. If you stay here, they'll find you within 48 hours. But if you come with me, I can protect you. And when this is over, when we find out who ordered this hit and deal with them, then maybe you get your life back. And my sister's treatment? I'll have the money transferred to the hospital tonight. Full payment for the experimental therapy, plus enough to cover any additional care she needs for the next 2 years. Vincent pulled out his phone and showed her a banking app. I can do it right now. All I need is the hospital name and your sister's patient information. Maya stared at the screen. $200,000. More than she'd make in 5 years at the diner. Enough to save Lily's life. Why do I feel like I'm making a deal with the devil? She whispered. Vincent's smile was thin. Because you probably are. But the devil keeps his promises, Maya. And right now, I'm the only thing standing between your sister and a funeral. The words should have made her angry. Should have made her throw the offer back in his face and take her chances on the street. But Maya had spent 8 months watching her sister fade, 8 months of hoping and praying and working herself to exhaustion for a miracle that never came. Maybe this was her miracle. Maybe it came in an expensive suit and had blood on its hands, but it was still a chance.
Still hope.
St. Mary's Hospital. Maya heard herself say. Patient named Lily Chen. She's in the oncology ward, room 347. Vincent's fingers moved across his phone screen. Date of birth. March 15th, 2008. More typing. Then Vincent turned the phone toward her. Verify this is correct. Maya looked at the transfer screen. $200,000, ready to be sent to St. Mary's Hospital's billing department, designated for Lily Chen's treatment. Her hands shook as she checked the details. It's correct. Vincent pressed confirm. The screen flashed. Transfer complete. There. He pocketed his phone. Your sister's treatment is paid for. Now, we need to move. Those vehicles outside won't wait much longer. Maya's legs felt like water. She'd just accepted money from a mafia boss. She'd just agreed to go with him, to enter his world, to become part of whatever dangerous game he was playing. Every instinct screamed that this was wrong, that she should run, that nothing good could come from this. But when she thought of Lily, sweet, brave Lily who'd already been through so much, she knew she'd made the only choice she could. I need to call her, Maya said. My sister. She'll worry if I don't check in. No phones. Vincent's tone was firm. Anything electronic can be tracked. But I'll have someone deliver a message to her in person. What do you want them to say? Maya's throat tightened. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm safe and I'll see her soon. And tell her. She swallowed hard. Tell her to keep fighting. That everything's going to be okay now. Vincent nodded to his remaining guard. Send Rodriguez to St. Mary's. Have him pose as a hospital volunteer and deliver the message personally to Lily Chen in room 347. Make sure he confirms the payment went through and that the treatment will start immediately. Yes, sir. The guard stepped outside, phone already to his ear. Maya watched him go, feeling like she was watching her old life disappear through that door. In less than 10 minutes, she'd gone from waitress to witness to what? Protected asset? Prisoner? We need to go. Vincent moved toward the back exit. My car is in the alley. Stay close to me and do exactly what I say. Maya followed on shaking legs. The back door opened onto a narrow alley lit by a single flickering streetlight. A black Mercedes idled near the dumpsters, its windows tinted so dark she couldn't see inside. Vincent's hand pressed against the small of her back, guiding her forward. That's when she heard the footsteps. 3 men emerged from the shadows at the far end of the alley. They weren't running, weren't even hurrying, but there was something deliberate in their approach that made Maya's blood run cold. The one in front had his hand inside his jacket. "Get in the car." Vincent's voice was calm, but his body had gone rigid beside her.
"Now, Maya." She didn't argue.
Vincent opened the back door and practically pushed her inside. The interior smelled like leather and gun oil. Before she could process that thought, Vincent slid in beside her, and the car was moving, tires squealing as it shot forward. "Drive." Vincent barked to the driver. "Harbor route. Lose them if they follow." Maya twisted in her seat to look out the back window. The three men were running now, one of them shouting into a phone. As she watched, a dark sedan pulled out from a side street and fell in behind them. "They're following us," she whispered. "I know." Vincent was typing rapidly on his phone. "Marcus, we've got a tail. Black sedan, 3 men inside. Get the team to the penthouse. Full lockdown protocol."
He paused.
"Yes, I'm bringing her. We don't have a choice. They saw her leave with me." He ended the call and looked at Maya. In the dim light of the car, his face was all hard angles and shadows. "How fast can you remember details?"
"What?"
"I need you to think back over the last few weeks. Anyone new who came into the diner? Anyone asking questions about me, about my schedule, about when I usually come in?"
"Can you do that?"
Maya's mind raced. There was, maybe 2 weeks ago, a man in a gray suit. He sat in the booth across from yours. He kept looking at his watch like he was timing something. What did he order? "Just coffee."
"Black."
He left a $100 bill for a $5 tab and told me to keep the change. Vincent's jaw tightened. "What else?" "Think, Maya. This is important. Last week, someone called the diner asking what time we closed. Said he wanted to make a reservation, but we don't take reservations. When I told him that, he asked specifically about Thursday nights. If we were busy on Thursdays." "Did you recognize the voice?"
"No."
"But..." Maya closed her eyes, trying to remember. "He had an accent. Eastern European, maybe? Russian." The car swerved suddenly, throwing Maya against Vincent. She heard the crack of gunfire, saw the back window spiderweb with fractures. Vincent pushed her down onto the floor of the car, covering her body with his. "Stay down," he shouted. More gunshots. The car accelerated, weaving through traffic. Maya could hear horns blaring, tires screeching, the driver cursing in what sounded like Italian. This is getting intense, right? If you're on the edge of your seat wondering if Maya and Vincent survive this chase, don't forget to like this video and drop a comment telling me what you think happens next. And hit subscribe so you don't miss the conclusion of this story. "How close are we?" Vincent demanded. 2 minutes, the driver shouted back. "But they're still on us." Vincent pulled a gun from inside his jacket. The sight of it, black metal gleaming in the dim light, made everything suddenly, terrifyingly real. This wasn't a movie. This wasn't a story. People were shooting at them. People were trying to kill them. People were trying to kill her. "I can't do this," Maya heard herself say. I can't. "Yes, you can." Vincent's hand found hers in the darkness, squeezed hard. "You already did the hardest part. You saved my life. Now let me save yours." The car made a sharp turn, tires screaming. Maya felt the momentum throw her against the door, felt Vincent's weight pressing her into the floor. Then suddenly they were descending, the sound of the engine echoing off close walls. A parking garage, she realized. They were in an underground parking garage. The car screeched to a stop. Doors opened, hands reached in, and suddenly Maya was being pulled out, surrounded by men in dark suits who formed a protective circle around her and Vincent. They moved as a unit, quickly, through a service door and into a sleek elevator.
The doors closed.
The elevator began to rise. And for the first time since she'd spilled that espresso, Maya could breathe. "You're safe now," Vincent said. He was still holding her hand, she realized. His thumb traced small circles on her palm, the gesture oddly gentle from a man who'd just been shot at. "This building is a fortress. 60 floors, private security on every level, and my penthouse takes up the entire top floor. No one gets in without my permission." Maya nodded, not trusting her voice. Her legs were shaking so badly she wasn't sure she could stand without support. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving behind a bone-deep exhaustion and the dawning realization of what she'd just survived. The elevator climbed higher. 40 floors. 50. 60. The doors finally opened onto a marble foyer that probably cost more than Maya's entire apartment building. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city lights spread out below like scattered diamonds. "Welcome to your new home," Vincent said. "At least for tonight." Maya stepped out of the elevator on shaking legs. The penthouse was massive, all clean lines and expensive furniture and art that probably belonged in a museum. Through an archway, she could see a kitchen with granite countertops. Another door led to what looked like a study, lined with bookshelves. But what caught her attention was the wall of security monitors in the corner of the living room. 12 screens showing different angles of the building's exterior, the parking garage, the elevator, the hallways. On one screen, she could see the black sedan that had been chasing them, now surrounded by police cars. "They won't talk," Vincent said, following her gaze. "They're professionals. But it doesn't matter. We already know who sent them."
How?
"The Russian accent you mentioned. The timing. The fact that they knew exactly which night to target me." Vincent moved to a bar cart and poured himself 2 fingers of whiskey. There's only one person who has the resources and the motive to make a move like this. Dmitry Volkov. The name meant nothing to Maya, but the way Vincent said it, with a mixture of anger and something that might have been respect, told her everything she needed to know. "Who is he?" "A competitor. We've had a truce for 5 years, ever since we divided up the waterfront territories. But truces don't last forever." Vincent downed the whiskey in one swallow. 6 months ago, one of his shipments was intercepted by the police. "He thinks I tipped them off. I didn't, but Dmitry isn't the type to let facts get in the way of revenge." "So, he tried to kill you?"
Yes.
"And now that he's failed, he'll try again. Which means we need to move fast." Vincent set down his glass and turned to face her fully. "I need you to remember everything you can about the past few weeks. Every customer who seemed interested in me. Every phone call. Every strange occurrence."
Can you do that?
Maya thought about Lily in the hospital, about the $200,000 that would save her life, about the fact that she'd already crossed a line she could never uncross.
Yes.
"I can do that." "Good." Vincent pulled out his phone and started typing. "I'm having my people bring you some clothes, toiletries, anything you might need for the next few days. You'll stay here where I can protect you. Tomorrow, we'll start going through everything systematically. But tonight..." He paused, something almost human flickering across his face. "Tonight, you should rest. You've earned it." Maya wanted to laugh.
Rest?
How could she possibly rest when her entire world had just exploded? But even as she thought it, exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. She'd been working a double shift when all this started. It was now past midnight, and she felt like she'd lived an entire lifetime in the past 2 hours. "The guest room is through there." Vincent gestured to a hallway. "It has an en-suite bathroom and locks from the inside, if that makes you feel safer. Though I should tell you, if I wanted to hurt you, I would have left you at the diner." It wasn't reassuring exactly, but it was honest. And right now, Maya would take honest over comforting any day.
"Thank you," she said.
"For paying for Lily's treatment. For not leaving me behind. For everything." Vincent's expression softened slightly. "Thank me when this is over and you're still alive." Maya didn't sleep. She lay in the guest room's king-sized bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the unfamiliar sounds of Vincent's penthouse. The hum of expensive air conditioning. The distant murmur of voices, Vincent's security team, she assumed. The occasional ping of the elevator arriving at the 60th floor. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Marco's face. The white powder dissolving in the espresso. The men in the alley. The spiderweb cracks in the car window from bullets that had come inches from ending her life. At 3 in the morning, she gave up trying to sleep and padded barefoot to the guest room door. She'd locked it earlier, taking Vincent up on his offer of that small illusion of safety. Now she unlocked it and stepped into the hallway. The penthouse was quiet but not empty. Through the living room windows, the city sprawled below like a living organism, all light and movement even at this hour. And sitting on the leather couch, still dressed in his blood-spattered suit, was Vincent. He had a laptop open in front of him and was scrolling through what looked like security footage. He didn't look up when she entered, but he said, "Can't sleep?" "No." Maya moved closer, wrapping her hands around herself. The clothes his people had brought fit perfectly, soft cotton pajamas that probably cost more than her weekly paycheck. "Can you?" "I don't sleep much." Vincent paused the footage and looked up at her. In the dim light from the laptop screen, he looked older than she'd thought. There were lines around his eyes, shadows under them that spoke of too many nights like this one. There's coffee in the kitchen if you want some. Or, I can have something stronger brought up. Coffee's fine. Maya started toward the kitchen, then stopped. Do you want some? Something flickered across Vincent's face. Surprise, maybe, or something softer.
Yes.
Thank you. Maya found the kitchen as spotless and expensive as the rest of the penthouse. The coffee maker looked like it belonged in a high-end cafe, all chrome and complicated buttons. It took her 3 tries to figure out how to make it work, but eventually the rich smell of brewing coffee filled the air. She made 2 cups, black for Vincent, the way he always ordered it at the diner, and brought them back to the living room. Vincent had closed the laptop and was standing by the windows, hands in his pockets, looking out at the city. $200,000, Maya said, handing him the coffee. That's a lot of money for a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore. Vincent took a sip, his expression unreadable. The moment you knocked over that cup, you became part of my world, whether you wanted to or not. Maya settled onto the opposite end of the couch, curling her legs under her. Tell me about your brother. The one who was poisoned. Vincent was quiet for so long that Maya thought he wouldn't answer. Then he moved back to the couch, sitting down with careful precision. His name was Alessandro. He was 23 when he died. Younger than me by 6 years. What was he like? Reckless. Brilliant. Too trusting for the life we were born into. Vincent stared into his coffee like he could see the past in its dark surface. Our father ran the organization before me. Alessandro was supposed to take over eventually. He was charming, good with people, the kind of leader men would follow into hell. I was just the muscle, the enforcer. The one who did the dirty work so Alessandro's hands could stay clean. Maya heard the pain beneath the words, raw even after 6 years. What happened? He fell in love. Vincent's laugh was bitter. With the daughter of a rival family. It was like something out of a bad movie. Romeo and Juliet, but with more guns and less poetry. Our father forbade it. The girl's father forbade it. But Alessandro was convinced love could bridge the gap between our families. Could it have? We'll never know. Someone in the girl's family, we never found out who, decided the relationship was too dangerous. They invited Alessandro to a dinner to discuss peace. He went alone, against my advice. Trusted them. Vincent's grip on his coffee cup tightened. They poisoned his wine. By the time his security realized something was wrong and got him to the hospital, it was too late. The doctors couldn't identify the poison fast enough.
I'm sorry, Maya whispered.
He died holding my hand, asking me to tell the girl he loved her. Vincent set down his coffee, with a sharp click. I found out later she'd been the one to suggest the dinner. She'd been part of the plan all along. The silence that followed was heavy with old grief and older rage. Maya wanted to say something comforting, something that would ease the pain she could see etched into Vincent's features.
But what could she say?
What words could possibly help? That's why you paid for Lily's treatment, she said finally. Because you couldn't save Alessandro. Partly. Vincent looked at her then, really looked at her. But also because you didn't hesitate. You saw danger and you acted, even though it put you at risk. That kind of courage is rare. And in my world, rare things are valuable. I'm not brave, Maya said. I was terrified. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Vincent leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You could have pretended you didn't see Marco poison that espresso. You could have looked the other way. No one would have blamed you. But you didn't. Maya thought about that moment in the diner. The split second when she'd had to decide. I kept thinking about Lily. About how many people looked the other way when she got sick. Friends who stopped visiting because cancer made them uncomfortable. Relatives who promised to help and then disappeared. I was so angry at all of them for their cowardice. She met Vincent's eyes. I couldn't become what I hated. Even if it cost you everything. Especially then. Vincent studied her for a long moment, and Maya had the unsettling feeling he was seeing past her defenses, reading truths she hadn't meant to reveal. Then he nodded, as if she'd passed some test she hadn't known she was taking. Get some sleep, Maya. Tomorrow we start working through the details. Every face you remember from the diner, every strange occurrence. Dimitri won't stop, because one attempt failed. If anything, he'll escalate. What about you? Maya asked. Are you going to sleep? Eventually. Vincent picked up his laptop again. But first I need to review the footage from tonight. Find out how they tracked us so quickly. There's a leak somewhere in my organization, and I need to find it before it gets us both killed. Maya wanted to argue, wanted to tell him that he needed rest too, that even mafia bosses were human. But the set of his shoulders told her the conversation was over. She stood, taking both empty coffee cups back to the kitchen. As she was rinsing them in the sink, her phone, the new one Vincent's people had brought with her clothes, buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Your sister is resting comfortably. Treatment begins tomorrow morning.
She asked about you.
I told her you were safe. Rodriguez. Maya's hands shook as she typed back a response. Thank you. Please tell her I love her. The response came quickly. Already did. Get some rest, Ms. Chun. You'll need it. Maya returned to the guest room, locked the door again, and this time managed to drift into an uneasy sleep filled with dreams of white powder dissolving in dark liquid and men with guns emerging from shadows. She woke to sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows and the smell of bacon. For a disorienting moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it all came flooding back, the poison, the chase, the penthouse. The clock on the nightstand read 10:47 a.m. She'd slept for 7 hours, longer than she had in months. Maya showered quickly in the guest bathroom, marble and chrome and water pressure that felt like a massage, and dressed in the clothes Vincent's people had brought. Jeans that actually fit her, a soft blue sweater, even comfortable sneakers in her exact size. Someone had done their homework. When she emerged, Vincent was in the kitchen cooking. Actually cooking, not just making coffee. He'd changed into dark jeans and a black t-shirt that showed off the kind of build that came from actual work, not just gym sessions. He looked younger like this, more human. You cook? Maya couldn't keep the surprise from her voice.
Alessandro taught me.
Vincent flipped a piece of bacon with practiced ease. He said a man who couldn't feed himself was a man who could be controlled. After he died, I kept cooking. It helps me think. What are you thinking about now? How many different ways Dimitri might try to kill us today? Vincent plated the bacon alongside scrambled eggs and toast.
Eat.
We have a long day ahead. Maya sat at the kitchen island and accepted the plate he offered. The food was good, better than good actually. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until the first bite hit her stomach. They ate in companionable silence for a few minutes. Then Vincent said, I need you to look at some photos. People who've been spotted near the diner in the past month. See if you recognize any of them. He pulled out a tablet and swiped through a series of surveillance photos. Maya studied each one carefully. Most were strangers, just customers passing through. But then, him. She pointed to a photo of a man in his 40s with salt and pepper hair. He came in 3 times last month. Always sat where he could see your booth. Ordered coffee and pie, but barely touched either. Vincent made a note. Anyone else? Her. Maya indicated a woman with blonde hair pulled back in a tight bun. She asked me specifically about you one night. Wanted to know if you were a regular, if you always came alone, if anyone ever joined you. What did you tell her? That I couldn't discuss other customers. She left a big tip and I never saw her again. Maya continued scrolling, then stopped.
Wait.
Go back. Vincent swiped back to a photo of a young man, maybe 25, with dark hair and nervous eyes. He was a delivery driver, Maya said slowly. Brought supplies to the diner. But last Thursday, the night before you were poisoned, he was there later than usual. I saw him talking to Marco in the alley during my break. They looked intense, like they were arguing. Vincent's expression sharpened. You're sure it was the night before? Positive. It was the same night Mrs. Henderson came in and complained about her soup being too cold. I remember because I was so frustrated I took an extra break to calm down. Vincent was already on his phone. Marcus, I need you to run down a delivery driver. Young, dark hair, supplies Rosie's Diner on 5th and Main. Find out who he works for and bring him in for questioning. He paused. Yes, now. And Marcus? Be gentle. We need him able to talk. He ended the call and looked at Maya with something approaching respect. You have a good memory for details. I'm a waitress. Remembering details is part of the job. Maya set down her fork. What happens to these people when you bring them in for questioning? That depends on what they tell us. Vincent's tone was matter-of-fact. If they cooperate, if they give us useful information, they walk away with enough money to disappear and start over somewhere Dimitri can't find them. If they don't cooperate, he shrugged. Let's just say I'm very good at persuasion. Maya's stomach turned. You mean torture? I mean persuasion. Vincent met her eyes steadily. I'm not a good man, Maya. I've done things that would horrify you. Hurt people. Killed people. But I have rules. I don't hurt innocents. I don't hurt families. And I don't kill unless someone tries to kill me first. He paused. Dimitri doesn't have those rules, which is why he needs to be stopped. Before Maya could respond, the elevator dinged. Vincent was on his feet instantly, hand moving to the gun at his waist. But then he relaxed as 3 men in suits emerged, escorting a 4th man between them. The delivery driver from the photo. He looked terrified. Found him at his apartment, Marcus said. He tried to run. Didn't get far. Vincent gestured to the living room couch. Sit him down. Maya, come here. Maya approached slowly, her heart pounding. The driver's eyes widened when he saw her. You, he whispered. You're the waitress. The one who, he looked at Vincent. She's the one who knocked over the cup. Marco said the plan failed because of her. What else did Marco say? Vincent's voice was calm, almost gentle. The driver shook his head frantically. I don't know anything. I just delivered the poison. That's all. They paid me $5,000 to bring it to Marco and make sure he used it that night. Who paid you? I don't know. It was all done through encrypted messages. Dead drops for the money. The driver was crying now. Please, I have a kid. A little girl. I needed the money for her medical bills. I didn't know anyone would get hurt. They said it was just a job, that no one would. Medical bills, Maya heard herself say. For what? The driver looked at her, confusion cutting through his fear. What? Your daughter. What's wrong with her? Cystic fibrosis. The treatments are expensive and insurance doesn't cover. He stopped, understanding dawning. You understand. You have someone sick too, don't you? Maya felt Vincent's eyes on her, but she kept her focus on the driver. My sister. Leukemia. Then you know what it's like to be desperate. To do things you never thought you'd do just to keep them alive. The driver leaned forward, chains rattling. Please. I'll tell you everything I know. Just don't hurt my daughter. Don't make her grow up without a father. Vincent was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. Name and hospital. The driver blinked. What? Your daughter's name and what hospital she's being treated at. Sophie. Sophie Martinez. She's at Children's General Hospital. The driver's voice shook. Why? Vincent typed rapidly. Because Maya is right. Desperation makes people do terrible things. But it doesn't make them evil. He showed the driver his phone. I just paid Sophie's medical bills for the next year. Every treatment, every medication, every doctor's visit. Covered. The driver stared at the screen, then at Vincent, then at Maya. I don't. Why would you? Because you're going to tell me everything you know about Dimitri's operation. Every dead drop location. Every encrypted message. Every piece of information you have. Vincent's voice hardened. And then you're going to take your daughter and disappear. Change your name, move to a different state, start over. If I ever see you again, if you ever work for Dimitri again, if you ever even think about betraying me, the next call I make won't be to a hospital. The driver nodded frantically.
Yes.
Yes, I'll tell you everything. Thank you. God, thank you. As Marcus led the driver to Vincent's study to get his statement, Maya turned to Vincent. You didn't have to do that. Pay for his daughter's treatment. No, Vincent agreed. But you wanted me to. I could see it in your face. Why does what I want matter? Vincent studied her for a moment, his dark eyes unreadable. Because you see people, Maya. Really see them. Not just what they can do for you, but who they are. What drives them. What scares them. He moved closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive and subtle. In my world, that's a superpower. And I'm starting to think that having you around might be more valuable than I anticipated. Maya wasn't sure if that was a compliment or a threat. Before she could ask, Vincent's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, frowned, and answered. What is it? His expression darkened as he listened.
When?
How many? A pause. Lock down the building. No one in or out without my direct authorization. And get Maya's sister transferred to a private facility. Now. He ended the call and turned to Maya, his face grim. Dimitri just made his move. 3 of his men tried to access the hospital where your sister is being treated. My security stopped them before they got to her floor, but... Oh God. Maya's legs went weak. Lily. I need to see her. I need to make sure she's okay.
She's fine.
My people have her secured. Vincent was already moving, grabbing his jacket from the back of a chair. But you're right. You should see her. And we need to move her somewhere Dimitri can't find. Get your shoes. You're letting me go to the hospital? I'm taking you to the hospital. There's a difference. Vincent checked his gun, then holstered it. Marcus, bring the car around. Full security detail. And I want eyes on every entrance to St. Mary's before we get there. 10 minutes later, Maya was back in the black Mercedes, this time in daylight. The city looked different from behind bulletproof glass. Normal people going about normal lives, completely unaware of the violence lurking just beneath the surface. Why is he targeting Lily? Maya asked. She's just a sick kid. She has nothing to do with this. Because she's leverage. Vincent kept his eyes on the street, scanning for threats. Dimitri knows you helped me. He knows I'm protecting you. So he goes after the one thing that could make you turn against me. I would never. Everyone has a breaking point, Maya. Dimitri's counting on finding yours. Vincent's jaw tightened. That's why we're moving her. I have a private medical facility upstate. Best doctors, best security, best equipment. She'll get better care there than at St. Mary's, and Dimitri won't be able to touch her. Maya wanted to argue, wanted to say that she couldn't just uproot Lily's life, couldn't make decisions this big without consulting her sister. But the alternative was leaving Lily vulnerable, leaving her as a target for men who wouldn't hesitate to hurt a 17-year-old girl to get what they wanted. How much is this going to cost? She asked quietly. Nothing. It's already paid for. Vincent finally looked at her. I made you a promise, Maya. I said I'd protect you and pay for your sister's treatment. I keep my promises. The hospital was surrounded by Vincent's security when they arrived. Men in suits stationed at every entrance, more watching from vehicles parked strategically around the building. Maya recognized Marcus near the main entrance, speaking rapidly into a phone. Vincent kept his hand on Maya's elbow as they walked through the lobby, past startled nurses and doctors who clearly recognized him. The elevator ride to the third floor felt endless. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. She hadn't seen Lily in 2 days. 2 days that felt like a lifetime. Rodriguez was waiting outside room 347. He nodded to Vincent. The girl is asking for her sister. We told her Ms. Chun was on her way. Any problems? Dimitri's men were posing as maintenance workers. They had fake IDs, uniforms, the works. They would have gotten through if we hadn't flagged their faces on the security system. Rodriguez's expression was grim. They're in custody now.
Not talking, but they don't need to.
The message is clear. Vincent nodded. Good work. Stay here. No one goes in except medical staff, and only after you verified their credentials. Then he opened the door and guided Maya inside. Lily was sitting up in bed, looking impossibly small against the white hospital sheets. Her head was wrapped in a colorful scarf. She'd lost her hair months ago, and her skin had the translucent quality that came from too many treatments and not enough sunlight. But her eyes, dark brown like Maya's, were bright with intelligence and worry. Maya. Lily's face lit up, then fell as she took in her sister's expression. What's wrong? The man who came yesterday said you were safe, but you look. She noticed Vincent standing in the doorway. Who's that? Maya moved to the bed and pulled her sister into a careful hug, mindful of the 4 lines.
I'm okay, Lily Bean.
I promise. But we need to talk about some things. About the experimental treatment? Lily pulled back, searching Maya's face. The doctors came in this morning saying it's all paid for. They're starting it tomorrow. Maya, how did you? Her eyes widened. Did you rob a bank? Despite everything, Maya laughed.
No.
I didn't rob a bank. She glanced at Vincent, who remained by the door, giving them space. But I did help someone. And in return, he's helping us. Lily's gaze shifted to Vincent, her expression wary. You're the one who paid for my treatment. I am, Vincent said simply. Why? Because your sister saved my life. And because no one should have to choose between living and bankruptcy. Lily studied him with the kind of directness only teenagers could manage. You're in the Mafia, aren't you? Like in the movies. Vincent's lips twitched. Something like that. And now Maya's involved because she helped you. It wasn't a question. Lily turned to her sister, anger flashing across her face. Maya, what did you do? The right thing, Maya said firmly. And I do it again. But Lily, there are some complications. Some bad people are trying to hurt the man I helped. And they think they can get to him through me. Through us. So we're in danger. Lily's voice was flat. Because you saved someone's life. Yes. Lily was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked at Vincent. Can you protect her? My sister? I can, Vincent said. I am. Then what do you need from me? Maya's throat tightened. Her little sister, not so little anymore at 17, was handling this with more grace than Maya had. We need to move you to a private facility upstate where you'll be safer. Better doctors, better security. You'll finish your treatment there. When?
Today.
As soon as the doctors clear you for transport. Lily looked around the hospital room that had been her home for months. At the cards from well-wishers taped to the wall. At the stuffed animals Maya had brought to make the space less sterile. At the window that overlooked the parking lot where they'd sat together watching the sunset on her good days. Okay, she said finally. If it keeps Maya safe, then okay. Lily.
I mean it, Maya.
Lily grabbed her sister's hand. You've been killing yourself to take care of me. Working yourself to death, literally, to pay for my treatment. If this is what needs to happen for you to be safe, then we do it. She looked at Vincent again. But if anything happens to my sister, if she gets hurt because of this, I don't care how powerful you are. I will find a way to make you pay. Vincent's expression softened. The first time Maya had seen anything approaching warmth on his face. You remind me of someone. My brother. He was protective of the people he loved too. He died 6 years ago. Poisoned. Lily absorbed this. Is that why you have people taste your food? Why you're so careful? Yes. Then Maya did save your life. Lily squeezed her sister's hand. Good. That means you owe her everything. Over the next hour, Maya watched Vincent's organization work with terrifying efficiency. Doctors were consulted, paperwork was signed, and arrangements were made. A private ambulance was brought to a secure entrance. Lily's medical records were transferred. Her belongings were packed. Through it all, Vincent remained a constant presence, making calls, giving orders, ensuring every detail was handled. Maya found herself watching him, trying to reconcile the man who'd slammed Marco against a wall with the man who'd paid for a stranger's daughter's medical treatment. Who was he really? As if sensing her gaze, Vincent looked up from his phone. Your sister will be settled in the new facility by tonight. You can visit her whenever you want. I'll arrange transportation. Thank you. The words felt inadequate. For everything. Don't thank me yet. We still have to deal with Dimitri. Vincent pocketed his phone. The delivery driver gave us some useful information. Dead drop locations, payment methods, communication protocols. Marcus is following up on leads now. But Maya, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest.
What?
Are you sure you can handle this? What comes next won't be pretty. There will be violence. People will get hurt, possibly killed. And you'll be in the middle of it all. Vincent moved closer, his voice dropping. I can still get you and your sister out. New identities, new lives, far away from here. The treatment will continue. The money is already transferred. You could walk away right now. Maya thought about it. Really thought about it. She could leave, take Lily and disappear, start over somewhere safe. No more looking over her shoulder. No more men with guns and poison and death threats. But then she thought about Alessandro, poisoned because no one had warned him. About Marco's family, threatened into compliance. About the delivery driver, desperate enough to transport poison because his daughter was sick. About all the people caught in the crossfire of powerful men playing dangerous games. If I run, Maya said slowly, Dimitri wins. He'll know he can threaten anyone, hurt anyone, and people will just fold. And then the next person who sees something wrong, who witnesses something terrible, they'll remember that I ran. And they'll run too. That's not your responsibility. Maybe not. But it could have been me in Alessandro's place. It could have been Lily. It could be anyone's brother or sister or daughter. Maya met his eyes. You said courage is acting despite fear. Well, I'm terrified. But I'm also angry. And I'm staying. Something shifted in Vincent's expression. Respect, maybe, or recognition. Then we need to move fast. Dimitri knows we're onto him now. He'll either escalate or disappear. We need to force his hand before he has time to regroup.
How?
By making him think you're vulnerable. Vincent pulled out his phone and showed her a security feed. This is the warehouse where we're holding Dimitri's men. I'm going to let it leak that you'll be there tonight, identifying suspects. Dimitri won't be able to resist. He'll send people to take you out. And then what? And then we'll be waiting. Vincent's smile was cold. Dimitri's been coming at me from the shadows, using proxies and poison and cowardice. Tonight, we bring him into the light. Tonight, this ends. Maya's stomach churned. You're using me as bait. I'm giving you a choice. You can stay here with your sister under guard and let me handle this. Or you can help me finish what we started. But Maya, if you choose to help, there's no going back. You'll see things tonight that you can't unsee. You'll be part of things that will change you.
He paused.
So choose carefully. Maya looked through the window at Lily, who was laughing at something one of the nurses had said. Her sister looked happy. The first time she'd looked truly happy in months. The experimental treatment would start tomorrow. She had a real chance now. A future. And all of it because Maya had knocked over a cup of espresso. I'll do it, Maya said. I'll be your bait. But I have conditions. Name them. No innocent people get hurt. Not the nurses, not the drivers, not anyone who's just trying to survive like that delivery driver was. Maya held Vincent's gaze. And when this is over, when Dimitri is dealt with, you let me go back to my life. No strings attached. No debt hanging over my head. Vincent considered this. Agreed. With one addition. What? You don't go back to working at the diner. It's not safe, too exposed, too predictable. I'll help you find something better. Something that pays enough to support you and your sister without working yourself to death. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. It's pragmatism. Vincent's tone was firm. You have a gift for reading people, for remembering details, for seeing patterns others miss. That's valuable. And I prefer valuable people to be well compensated and loyal rather than desperate and vulnerable. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you options. After tonight, after this is done, we'll talk about what comes next. Vincent glanced at his watch. But first, we need to prepare. The warehouse operation starts at midnight. That gives us 8 hours to set the trap and make sure Dimitri takes the bait. Maya took a deep breath. She was really doing this. Really committing to a plan that involved guns and violence and mafia politics. 24 hours ago, she'd been a waitress worried about her sister's medical bills. Now she was standing in a hospital room planning an operation with a man who probably had a body count. Life changed fast. Sometimes in the blink of an eye. Sometimes in the space of a single choice. Okay, Maya said. Let's do it. Let's end this. Vincent nodded once, then called Marcus over. As they began discussing logistics, security positions, backup plans, exit strategies, Maya turned back to the window. Lily caught her eye and smiled, giving her a thumbs up. Maya smiled back, hoping her sister couldn't see the fear underneath. Tonight would change everything. Tonight, she'd either help bring down a dangerous man or she'd die trying. But at least Lily would be safe. At least her sister would have a future. And sometimes, Maya thought that was enough. As the sun began to set over the city, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold, Vincent and Maya prepared for the night ahead. The warehouse waited in the industrial district, empty and dark and perfect for an ambush. Dimitri's men would come, Vincent was certain of it. And when they did, they'd find not a vulnerable witness, but a trap carefully laid. Are you ready? Vincent asked as they prepared to leave the hospital. Maya thought about everything that had led to this moment. The white powder dissolving in espresso. The split-second decision to knock over a cup. The chase through the city streets. The girl in the hospital bed who deserved a chance to grow up. No, she admitted. But I'm doing it anyway. Vincent's smile was small but genuine. That's the spirit. Come on. We have a long night ahead. As they walked toward the elevator, surrounded by security, Maya felt the weight of what was coming. But she also felt something else, a strange sense of rightness, like all the threads of her life had been leading to this moment. She'd saved a life. Now she had to help finish what that choice had started. The elevator doors closed. The night waited. And somewhere in the city, Dmitri Volkov was preparing his own moves, unaware that the waitress who'd ruined his plan was about to become his downfall. Sometimes the smallest choices changed everything. Sometimes courage looked like a trembling hand knocking over a cup. And sometimes, the most dangerous thing you could do was trust that doing the right thing would be enough. Maya was about to find out which kind of story this was. And if you made it this far, you're probably dying to know what happens when Maya walks into that warehouse tonight. Did she survive? Did Vincent keep his promise? And what about Dimitri? Drop a comment below telling me what you think happened next. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. The warehouse loomed ahead as darkness settled over the industrial district. Maya sat in the back of the Mercedes, watching Vincent's team move into position. 12 men in dark clothing, all armed, all moving with practiced precision through the maze of abandoned buildings and rusted machinery. "Remember what we discussed," Vincent said, checking his weapon one final time. "You stay in the car with Marcus. If anything goes wrong, you leave immediately. Don't wait for me, don't look back. Just go." "I remember." Maya's voice was steadier than she felt. Through the tinted windows, she could see the Target warehouse, a massive concrete structure with broken windows and graffiti-covered walls. "But Vincent, something feels wrong about this." "What do you mean?" "I don't know exactly. It's just..." Maya studied the surrounding buildings. "It's too quiet, too empty. For a place that's supposed to be Dimitri's main operation center, where are the guards? Where are the lookouts?" Vincent followed her gaze, his expression darkening. "Marcus, do a thermal scan of the perimeter." Marcus pulled out a handheld device, pointing it at the warehouse and surrounding structures. After a moment, his face went pale. "Boss, I'm getting heat signatures in every building except the Target. At least 30 people, maybe more. They're surrounding us. It's a trap." Vincent's jaw clenched. He knew we'd come. The delivery driver's information, it was too easy. Dimitri wanted us to find this place. Before anyone could respond, Maya saw movement on the roof of the building to their left. A glint of metal in the dying light. "Sniper. Rooftop, 10 o'clock. Marcus was already on the radio. "All units, we have hostiles on the perimeter. This is a trap. Repeat, this is a trap. Converge on my position now." Vincent's men began retreating from the warehouse, but gunfire erupted from multiple directions. Maya watched in horror as bullets pinged off the armored vehicles, as Vincent's team took cover behind concrete pillars and abandoned equipment. "We need to get them out," Maya said. "They're sitting ducks out there." "We don't have enough firepower," Marcus replied grimly. "Dimitri planned this perfectly. He's got us surrounded and outgunned." Maya's mind raced. She thought about the delivery driver, about Marco, about all the desperate people Dimitri had used and discarded, about how men like him always underestimated the people they considered beneath them. "He's not here," Maya said suddenly. "Dimitri's not here. He wouldn't risk being this close to an active firefight." "So where is he?" Vincent asked, his phone pressed to his ear as he coordinated with his teams. "Somewhere he can watch. Somewhere with a clear view, but safe distance." Maya looked around, her waitress instincts, honed from months of reading rooms and anticipating problems, kicking in. Her eyes landed on an office building 3 blocks away, taller than everything around it, with a perfect vantage point of the entire industrial district.
There.
That office building. Vincent followed her gaze, and something clicked in his expression. "Marcus, take 5 men to the Hartley building 3 blocks north. Top floor. If Maya's right, Dimitri's watching from there. And if she's wrong, then we're no worse off than we are now." Vincent looked at Maya. "You're sure about this?" "No," Maya admitted. "But I'm right about people. And men like Dimitri always want to watch their victories from a safe distance." Vincent held her gaze for a moment, then nodded. "Marcus, go. And take Maya with you."
"What? No."
Maya protested. "You said I'd stay in the car." "Plans change. If Dimitri's in that building, he'll have guards. But he won't be expecting a woman in a business suit to walk through the front door." Vincent pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. "This is what he looks like. Can you identify him?" Maya studied the photo. A man in his 50s, silver hair, expensive suit, cold eyes.
"Yes."
"But what am I supposed to do when I find him?" "Nothing. Just confirm he's there and get out. Marcus will handle the rest." Vincent's expression softened slightly. "You saved my life once by knocking over a cup. Now you might save it again by knocking on a door." 10 minutes later, Maya found herself walking through the lobby of the Hartley building, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. Marcus and 3 other men flanked her, dressed as private security. They'd coached her on the way over. Confident stride, bored expression, like she belonged there. The building was mostly empty. It was after business hours, but a security guard sat at the front desk, looking up as they approached. "Help you?" he asked, his hand moving subtly towards something under the desk. A panic button, Maya realized, or maybe a weapon. "Delivery for Mr. Volkov," Maya said, holding up a folder Marcus had given her. "Time-sensitive documents for his signature." The guard's eyes narrowed. Mr. Volkov isn't expecting any deliveries. He is now. Maya channeled every difficult customer she'd ever dealt with at the diner, letting irritation creep into her voice. Look, I've been driving around the city for 3 hours trying to find this place. My firm bills $400 an hour, and every minute I waste standing here is going on somebody's invoice. Now, are you going to let me do my job, or do I need to call my boss and explain why Mr. Volkov's acquisition documents are going to be late? The guard hesitated. In that moment of uncertainty, Maya knew she'd been right. Dmitri was here, and this guard had been told to expect him, but not told about any deliveries. The confusion on his face confirmed it. Top floor, the guard said finally, gesturing to the elevator. But you'll need to leave your security detail here. Company policy, Marcus said smoothly. Ms. Chin doesn't travel without protection, especially not in this neighborhood. The guard looked like he wanted to argue, but Maya was already moving toward the elevator, and Marcus's team followed in formation. The guard reached for his radio, but one of Marcus's men had already disabled the building's communication system. By the time the guard realized what was happening, they were in the elevator, and the doors were closing. You're a natural at this, Marcus muttered as the elevator climbed. I've been dealing with difficult people for 8 years, Maya replied. Mafia guards aren't that different from entitled customers who want to speak to the manager. The elevator dinged as they reached the top floor. The doors opened onto a corridor with expensive carpet and dim lighting. At the far end, Maya could see a door slightly ajar, light spilling out from what looked like a corner office. Marcus held up a hand, signaling his team to hold position. He moved forward silently, weapon drawn, and peered through the gap in the door. Then he looked back at Maya and nodded. Dmitri was inside. Maya's job was done. She should retreat to the elevator, let Marcus and his team handle this. But something made her move closer, made her peer through that gap in the door. The office was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the industrial district. And standing at those windows, watching the firefight below through binoculars, was the man from Vincent's photo, Dmitri Volkov. He was on the phone, speaking in Russian, laughing. Maya couldn't understand the words, but the tone was clear. Victory, satisfaction, the sound of a man who thought he'd won. He's alone, Marcus whispered, having done a visual sweep of the office. No guards inside. They must be in the building but not in the room. So what now? Maya asked. Now we take him. Marcus signaled his team. On my count. 3, 2. The door burst open. Marcus's team flooded in with professional efficiency, weapons trained on Dmitri. The man spun around, his phone clattering to the floor, his face going from triumph to shock in an instant. Dmitri Volkov, Marcus said. You're coming with us. You have no authority here. Dmitri's English was perfect, his voice steady despite the guns pointed at him. You're trespassing in my building, threatening a legitimate businessman. The police won't help you. Vincent's voice cut through as he stepped into the office. Maya hadn't even heard him arrive. Because I own half the police force, and the half I don't own you do. Which means no one's coming to save you. Dmitri's eyes went to Maya, standing behind Vincent's men. Recognition flickered across his face. The waitress. The one who ruined everything. She has a name, Vincent said coldly. And she's smarter than everyone you had working for you combined. She's the one who figured out you'd be here, watching. You couldn't resist, could you? Had to see it happen in person. I underestimated her. And you. Dmitri straightened his tie, regaining some composure. But this changes nothing, Vincent. My men have yours surrounded. Even if you take me, they'll kill everyone in that warehouse district. Your entire operation gone. Not quite. Vincent pulled out his phone and turned it to show Dmitri the screen. It showed police units, real ones, not bought and paid for, surrounding the industrial district. Turns out, when you gave the delivery driver all those locations and dead drops, you gave us a map of your entire network. We've been feeding information to the FBI for the past 3 hours. Your men aren't killing anyone, they're being arrested. Dmitri's face went white. You can't. You'll go down too. They'll investigate you. Let them investigate. I've got lawyers who cost more than your entire yearly income. And unlike you, I know when to cut my losses. Vincent moved closer. You tried to kill me because you thought I betrayed you. I didn't.
But now?
Now you've given me no choice. So you'll kill me. Dmitri tried to sound brave, but Maya could hear the fear underneath. Make it quick, at least. Kill you. Vincent laughed, the sound harsh. No, Dimitri. Death is too easy. Instead, I'm going to do something much worse. I'm going to make you irrelevant. Vincent nodded to Marcus, who pulled out a tablet. This is being broadcast right now to everyone in your organization. Every soldier, every lieutenant, every person who works for you. On the tablet screen, Maya could see a live feed. Dimitri, standing in his office, surrounded by Vincent's men, looking small and defeated. And below that feed, scrolling text showing bank accounts emptied, assets seized, territories claimed. By morning, Vincent continued, you'll have nothing. No money, no power, no organization. You'll be just another old man with too many enemies and no protection. He leaned in close. And every single person you ever wronged, everyone you ever threatened, everyone whose family you hurt to get compliance, they'll know you can't hurt them anymore. How long do you think you'll survive? Dimitri's bravado crumbled completely.
Please.
Vincent, please. We can make a deal. We had a deal. A truce. You broke it. Vincent turned away. Marcus, let him go. Sir? Marcus looked confused.
Let
him go. Vincent walked toward the door. He's not worth the bullet. As they left the office, Maya looked back to see Dimitri collapsed in his chair, his empire crumbling in real time on the tablet screen still showing the broadcast. She should have felt triumphant, but instead, she just felt tired. In the elevator, Vincent turned to her. You okay? I just helped destroy a man's entire life. You helped stop a man who would have destroyed countless others. Vincent's voice was gentle. He tried to kill me, Maya. He threatened your sister. He coerced desperate people into doing terrible things. This isn't victory, it's justice. Maya nodded, wanting to believe him. Maybe she would, eventually. The ride back to the penthouse was quiet. Maya watched the city pass by, thinking about everything that had happened since that night at the diner. How one choice, one split-second decision to knock over a cup, had led to all of this. What happens now? She asked as they pulled into the underground garage.
Now.
Vincent helped her out of the car. Now you go check on your sister. Make sure she's settling into the new facility. Spend some time being normal. And you? I have an organization to rebuild. Territory to secure. Damage control to manage. Vincent smiled slightly. The usual. They rode the elevator up in comfortable silence. When they reached the penthouse level, Vincent stopped her before she could head to the guest room. Maya, I meant what I said before.
About the job.
About having you work with me. He pulled out a business card. Heavy stock, embossed lettering, nothing but a name and a phone number. Think about it. No pressure. But if you decide you want something more than going back to the diner, call me. Maya took the card, feeling the weight of it. The weight of the choice it represented. And if I say no, then I thank you for saving my life. Make sure you and your sister are set for life financially, and we part as friends. Vincent's expression was sincere. You don't owe me anything, Maya. You never did. Everything I've done, paying for Lily's treatment, protecting you both, that was repaying a debt. You saved my life. That's worth more than money. I'll think about it, Maya said softly. She spent the next week with Lily, watching her sister thrive in the new facility. The doctors were amazed at her progress. The experimental treatment was working better than anyone had hoped. Lily had color in her cheeks again, energy in her voice. She looked like she might actually have a future. You're different, Lily observed one afternoon as they sat by the facility's garden windows. Since all this happened, I don't know, more confident? More sure of yourself. I knocked over a cup of coffee and accidentally joined the Mafia, Maya said dryly. It's been a character-building experience. Are you going to work for him? Vincent. Maya had been asking herself that same question for days. I don't know. Going back to the diner feels like trying to fit into clothes I've outgrown. But working for Vincent, that's a whole different life. A dangerous life. You've always played it safe, Lily said. Worked the safe job, made the safe choices. And where did it get you? Exhausted, broke, and watching me die slowly because we couldn't afford treatment. She grabbed Maya's hand. I'm not saying you should become a criminal. But maybe it's okay to take a risk. To use those instincts of yours for something bigger than remembering who ordered decaf. That night, Maya pulled out Vincent's business card. Stared at it for a long time. Then she picked up her phone and dialed. He answered on the second ring. Maya. I have conditions, she said.
I'm listening.
I don't do anything illegal. I don't hurt people. And if I ever think you're crossing a line you shouldn't, I walk away. No matter what. Agreed. And Lily's care continues, no matter what happens between us professionally. Already guaranteed in writing. My lawyers have drawn up a trust that covers her medical care for life. It's yours whether you work for me or not. Maya took a deep breath. Then yes.
I'll take the job.
Whatever it is. Strategic consultant, Vincent said, and she could hear the smile in his voice. You'll analyze threats, identify patterns, help me make decisions. Your instincts have saved my life twice now. I'd be a fool not to use them. When do I start? How about Monday? That gives you time to spend the weekend with your sister.
And Maya?
He paused. Thank you for trusting me. I know that wasn't easy. Neither was knocking over that espresso, Maya said. But it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. 3 months later, Maya Chen sat in a sleek office overlooking the city, analyzing security reports and identifying potential threats before they became problems. She'd found 2 moles in Vincent's organization, prevented 3 conflicts from escalating to violence, and redesigned the entire security protocol for his legitimate businesses. She went home each night to a comfortable apartment, paid for, but not by Vincent's money. By her money, earned doing work she was actually good at, work that mattered. And twice a week, she visited Lily, who was thriving, who was in remission, who was talking about college applications and future plans and all the things dying teenagers don't get to dream about. Was it worth it? Vincent asked one evening as they reviewed reports over dinner, a habit they'd fallen into, mixing business with something that felt almost like friendship. Everything that happened, the fear, the danger, the life you had to leave behind. Maya thought about the diner, about counting tips and working doubles and slowly drowning in medical debt. Then she thought about Lily's laugh, about the satisfaction of solving problems that actually mattered, about becoming someone she'd never imagined she could be. I saved your life, Maya said finally. And in return, you saved mine.
So yes.
It was worth it. All of it. Vincent raised his wine glass in a toast to knocked over espressos and the chaos they cause. Maya clinked her glass against his, smiling. To second chances and the courage to take them. Outside, the city glittered with endless possibilities. And somewhere in it, a waitress who'd once been too afraid to dream beyond her next shift was building a life bigger than she'd ever imagined possible. All because she'd chosen to knock over a cup. Sometimes the smallest choices changed everything. Sometimes courage looked like a trembling hand disrupting a perfect plan. And sometimes, the most dangerous thing you could do was trust that doing the right thing would lead somewhere worth going. Maya had learned it did. If you made it to the end of Maya and Vincent's story, thank you for being here. If this tale of courage, second chances, and unexpected partnerships resonated with you, show some love by hitting that like button and dropping a comment telling me what you thought. And don't forget to subscribe. I've got more stories like this coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Until next time, remember, sometimes one choice really does change everything.